Ladies and gentlemen, the NBA playoffs have been very exciting in my opinion so far. I know we're getting close to the end of the second round here, but to me, it hasn't disappointed at all. It really hasn't. In the four series that we definitely have storylines, we definitely have parity, we definitely have action, we definitely have controversy. We have headlines. We have storytelling. We have it all. We definitely have it all. So, of course, we had 2 games last night. And I'm pretty sure we have 2 games tonight. Yep. All right, so for me, like my favorite 2 series actually plays on the same days, which was last night. The first game was the Knicks and the Heat. Heat goes up 3-1 after winning 109-101. I do not see the Knicks winning another game in this series. And it has more so to do with how good Miami is as opposed to, I guess, the lack of consistency for the Knicks per se. So when I was on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast on Saturday, basically we went through every series, and look, I just believe the New York Knicks just does not have enough offense to keep up with the Miami Heat. And that showed up really in game 3, the first game in Miami. Because I was saying if the Knicks get down, 15 points, it's over. They don't have enough to come back from that. In order for the Knicks to win, they have to grind it out. The problem is the Heat is a grinded out team that happens to have the ability to hit threes more consistently than the New York Knicks. That's just what it comes down to. And the crazy thing about it is the Heat this year, for the most part, wasn't known as a 3-point shooting team either. They just happened to, start getting hot from behind the arc, entering the playoffs, and it hasn't really let up. Like when you have Max Strus out here hitting multiple threes a game, Duncan Robinson coming off the bench now since Oladipo and Tyler Hero is out now. Duncan Robinson out here hitting threes. You got Jimmy out here hitting threes. Kyle Lowry, Gabe Vincent. Kevin Love, he's been a huge contributor for them. Be able to stretch the floor as a big. Man, that Kevin Love signing, that buyout by the Cavs and him choosing the Heat has really put the Heat in new light, put them in a new stratosphere as far as the competitiveness of the Eastern Conference right now. Bam's playing pretty good. He's playing within himself. You don't see Bam doing anything outside the ordinary. Them picking up Cody Zeller, that was a really big pickup for them, low key. After they traded, Dwayne Dedmon, who fell out the rotation at the deadline, they needed another big, and Cody Zeller just happened to fall right in their lap and fit into what they're trying to do. So, yeah. And then, of course, the legend of Jimmy Butler. This guy here is incredible. Incredible. So, lately, I've just been thinking about really good 2 guards, who hasn't made the Hall of Fame yet, but darn well, like, these guys can play ball. And the way that Jimmy's playing, like, he fits that category, but he's also, if he keeps going at this trajectory, he's going to end up in the Hall of Fame. He is. Without a doubt. Let Miami win a ring this year. How can you keep him out the Hall of Fame at this point? Because the legend of Jimmy in the playoffs is sensational. So the one, I guess, 2 guard that has stuck out to me, that just keeps I guess popping up in my head, it's like Joe Johnson. Joe Johnson with the Atlanta Hawks, ISO Joe, crunch time. I mean, that man was a monster. Joe Johnson is well respected, is known as a certified hooper. He just wants to play ball. I mean, it's not too long ago that Joe Johnson, signed a 10-day contract with the NBA. And was out here getting buckets for a few. I think he was with the Celtics for a 10-day contract. But, man, I tell you. So that was the comparison for me. And I feel like Jimmy is pretty much where Joe Johnson is at. And I feel like Jimmy, the legend of Hemi Buckets, is growing substantially in these playoffs, because it makes it seem like that whatever he did in the bubble is not a fluke. Definitely not a fluke. Jimmy had 27 last night with 10 assists. So, yeah, when they go back to New York, I know it's going to be a crazy atmosphere. The Garden itself in the playoffs has been phenomenal. You see all the celebrities come out like Chris Rock, Tracy Morgan. Of course, you got Spike there. You had Aaron Rodgers, Jessica Alba, etc. And the list goes on. But I don't think the Knicks got enough. They're not consistent enough. I mean, granted, Julius Randle actually, played a decent game yesterday, but I still question his shot selection a lot of times, especially when he starts settling for jump shots instead of attacking the basket. Jalen Brunson has been the only consistent player. Outside of that, maybe RJ Barrett. He's been playing a lot better. Josh Hart has been solid. But yeah, outside of those three, I don't know where they're getting production from. They can't score enough. They can play defense. They can grind it out. Well, if they get down early, it's over. That's just what it is. So yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite series. The other game last night, the Lakers end up squeaking out a close one against the Warriors, 104-101. They're up 3-1 as well. I mean, Steph had a triple-double, wasn't enough. I feel like even with, Steph having a trip-dub, like, the Warriors did not play well, especially when they counted most. I mean, Steph shot 12 of 30. Clay was cold. He was 3 of 11. Draymond Green had like 5 turnovers, especially crucial ones down the stretch. So for me in this series, so the Lakers, this Lakers team, this LeBron's team is vastly different from the ones in the past where, those teams had 3-point shooting all over the place and just jacking it up. Like, this team is not that at all. And so they really are winning, I guess because of defense, a lot of it. Defense and crashing the boards. And with the Warriors, having a poor shooting night, only shooting 29% from behind the arc. I mean, it feels like the Lakers are doing just enough, but if you do just enough 4 times, I mean, you win the series, right? That's where we're at. And so, yeah, it's not looking good for the defending champs. But it's like I'm not going to count them out just yet, because they are the defending champs, and what a crazy, ironic scenario would it be if somehow, some way, the Warriors come back from 3-1 and beat LeBron and the Lakers to go on to the next round. That would be crazy. Now, I'm not saying that will happen, but boy, oh boy. I expect the Warriors to win Game 5. but it's more so, one game at a time. But once they win Game 5, Game 6, that's the one that, they make it that far. Like, somebody going to have a historic, heroic performance. Because I'm pretty sure the Lakers going to come out on full throttle trying to blow them out the building like they did the Grizzlies in Game 6 of last round series where they beat them by 40. And now Dillon Brooks doesn't have a home anymore. Great Value Iced Tea is no longer on the shelves in Memphis anymore. So that's where we're at. So yeah, those two series are pretty good. So then we got tonight's games. Sixers and Celtics. I mean, on Sunday that was, fun to watch. I feel like if James Harden can be aggressive and not necessarily you have to play like the Houston Rockets James Harden, who was just out here just dropping 40-point games, 50-point games, triple-doubles, this and that. No, you don't need to do all that, but more so just be aggressive with your shot, put pressure on the Celtics defense. The Celtics are hoping that the Sixers offense can become stagnant and more so isolation for Joel Embiid all the time. They thrive on that. They can get in transition a lot quicker and get easy buckets. When James Harden is doing his thing and attacking the basket and creating opportunities for others and actually looking for a shot and shooting mid-range jump shots and floaters in the lane and, getting to the free throw line, then it disrupts a lot of what the Celtics are trying to do on defense. It changes things. When James Harden is aggressive, it allows Tyrese Maxey to be aggressive. It allows Tobias Harris to get his shots. And Niang to hit wide open threes. And then Joel Embiid can flourish a lot as well. Because two things has to happen for the Sixers, to win this series. One, James Harden needs to stay aggressive. That absolutely has to happen. For me, the second thing is Embiid has to impose his will against the Celtics. As in, he cannot be sitting here getting your shot blocked by Al Horford all the time. You cannot come in the game up 8 with a couple minutes left and blow the lead and go in overtime. You can't do that. You have to impose your will, Mr. MVP. You have to make their defense do things they don't want to do. Just like at the end of the game in overtime. When Embiid had the ball against Jason Tatum, and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, Jaylen Brown decides, I'm going to go help. Let's go double team Embiid. I'm going to leave James Harden, who has been red hot the whole game, wide open for a 3. And what do you know? James Harden hits the game-winning 3. So that's what the Sixers need to do to win this series. James Harden has to stay aggressive. Joel Embiid has to impose his will. That will free everything else up. And they have a chance. If they don't, the Celtics are going to easily win this series. Because so far, through 4 games, the Celtics have looked like the better team by far. Even with the disappearing act of Jason Tatum at times. Even with the disappearing act of Jaylen Brown at times. Even with the suspect coaching at times. We're not calling timeouts in certain periods of time. The Celtics overall still look like the better team. Period. So yeah, Game 5 is tonight in Boston. I expect the Celtics to come out and really try to lay the smack down on the Sixers. I really expect that to happen, especially if James Harden becomes pedestrian and nonchalant. Then yeah, it's going to be a blowout. If James Harden comes out and is aggressive just like he was in Game 4 and Game 1, then, the pressure starts to mount on the Celtics here. It really do. So James Harden will dictate how this game will go for both teams tonight in Game 5. And then last, but certainly not least, we got the Suns and Nuggets, who are tied 2-2. Now, at this point, a lot of people have probably, noticed this situation, this, I guess this thing that happened towards the end of the first half, if I'm not mistaken, in Game 4, to where the ball was out of bounds. Nikola Jokic tried to grab the ball, and then a fan who turned out to be the owner of the Suns was trying to grab the ball too, and made contact with Jokic, and Jokic kind of pushed him off with his forearm, and he went flopping to the ground, and it's just all sorts of circumstances and situations and all this stuff happened. But yeah, the owner came out and said he doesn't want Jokic suspended. He respects him. But my thing is, there was another fan that grabbed Jokic's forearm and he was ejected. But for whatever reason, when the owner did it, I guess ain't nothing happened to him. So my thing is with that, I don't care if you're the owner. I don't care if you're the owner's son. I don't care if you're a distant relative or just a regular fan paying for your seats. The bottom line is, if you're sitting in those seats and you're touching NBA players like that, especially when you're not supposed to in those type of circumstances, you should be kicked out too. You really should, because it's definitely not a good look. Yeah, I understand the guy owns the team; he can do what he wants to a certain degree, but yeah, you're with stuff like that, you're causing conflict. You're increasing the risk of worse things that can happen. I mean, Malice in the Palace, I'm pretty sure everybody remembers that. I was in high school when that happened. Heck, my mom don't even watch sports and she knew about that. So yeah, just to prevent things from escalating to situations that are far worse than what they are, you need to keep that same energy with the owner as you did with the other, I guess, paying fan. So yeah, but outside of that, Jokic had a monster game. I mean, a monster game. I'm pretty sure that man had like 50, I think it was 53. I'm going to just double check that really quick. But man, and it still wasn't enough. Yeah, Jokic had 53 and 11 assists. Wasn't enough. So, Game 5, kind of similar to what I expect the Celtics to do, is Denver to come out and full throttle, try to punch them in the mouth and blow this game wide open. Because what it comes down to is it feels like an NBA Jam. If you all remember that game, that arcade game that was on the on the Sega and the Super Nintendo, and you actually go to the arcade and play the game. But the reason why I say that is, it feels like it comes down to for the Suns, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker versus Nikola Jokic and, I mean, at this point, Jamal Murray. But Jamal Murray has to kind of show up and do his part all the way too. Because if I'm Jokic, there's no way I'm dropping 53 points and still taking an L. Like, all that effort to lose, yeah, that's not a good look. Not a good look at all. And Chris Paul is not playing. I don't think he's going to play the rest of the series. But DeAndre Ayton, where are you? This man is still trash. Well, he's still playing like trash, because it feels like that the backup center Jock Lindell, he's out here outplaying DeAndre Ayton. Like, Ayton can't even get a double-double in this series. Ayton can't do anything with Jokic out here. I mean, Ayton is supposed to be a solid defender. But, man, he's making it look like I could do a better job guarding Jokic at this rate. Like, sheesh. Getting paid $132 million just to watch Jokic do whatever he wants against you. And it's just, dude, it's bad. It's like after this, like, if I'm Phoenix, I'd be like, thank you for your services, but you got to go. First class out of here, like expeditiously. TSA process in the airport, like, you got to go. So yeah, I expect the Nuggets to come out strong tonight. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker got to play lights out here. It's just all this energy that's being exerted. The Phoenix Suns having to get past here. It's like, man, how much more energy do they have to keep going in the playoffs if they get past the Denver Nuggets at this point? That's the question. But I think Kevin Durant and or Devin Booker got to be legendary tonight in order to win this game. It's not impossible. But, man, I mean, nobody else is helping them. We just talked about how bad DeAndre Ayton is playing, so Chris Paul's not playing. I don't know who's going to help him, but those two got to be legendary. So we'll see what happens here. So continue to rock with your boy right here in the No Offense Radio, No Offense Network. Check me out on social media at JGoodWithSports. We're talking about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And, of course, rock with me on the JGoodWithSports podcast, wherever you get your podcast from. So Thursday, of course, we'll continue to talk about NBA playoffs, but rumor has it the NFL schedule is going to be released Thursday. We're gonna dive into that. We will. So, all right, until next time, we're in the beautiful month of May. You all enjoy the weather, be safe, get to the money. But until next time, peace.